Hello, my friends on the internet. I'm Isaac Tumwine. Allow me to take you to a diagnostic test of cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a module that we do in ICDL. And as I'm explaining these questions, I'll be tackling the most unique concepts. And I hope it will be more easier for you. Come and I'll take you to the screen. Thank you so much. All right. Let's try to go to our site. It's africa.skillsbox.com. Let me try to just log in my account. Let me try to take you through the course. So the module that we are going to be discussing is just cybersecurity. It used to be known as IT security. So I'll try to take you through, and then you'll be seeing how questions look like. So this is the only diagnostic test that we have, the first link. So I'll just open it. And then I have to wait until I see OK everywhere, so that we can dive into the first question. Have to be patient on this stage as we are waiting. I think it's coming to the end, so from here I think we continue. And then we click on start. So as you see, there are 65 questions. So I'll be doing them all at once. It's not easy, but we'll just try to be quick, and I'll try to explain some new concepts. So question 1 is asking which one of the following best describes the relationship between data and information. Data is what you gather from the site. After you gather them, and after you do visualization, like presenting them in graphs and let's say using charts to make sure they have meaning, is when now we get what we call information. So information is the output of data. So you need to read from this one, and then you see whether you can see the best. Option number 1 is saying data and information is the same. No. Data is the raw input that information is based on. Yes, this one is true. Information is unorganized data. No. Actually, information is the organized data, but not unorganized, because data are unorganized. So from data, after organizing data, is when we come up with information. Information is any data that is in digital form. No, this one is wrong. So we go with the second option. Which one of the following best describes cybercrime? Cybercrime is just any illegal activity done online. Let's say housing people online, let's say trying to steal people's credit card informations. All of those, we categorize them into what we call cybercrime. So we can say they are illegal activities by means of computer networks. Repeated failed attempts, no. Theft of computers, no. Broadband connection, no. So we go with that one. Which one of the following is not a possible threat to data? Threat is something that can cause danger or a damage to our data. So we have employees, we have service providers. Service providers are those companies like MTN, Airtel, that provide services to organizations let's say to an organization like Minumwe, to an organization, let's say like Ministry of Justice, let's say to UTB, let's say to University of Kigali, something like that. Screen resolution is just the size of your screen. Like if I come over here and I just right click and I come to display properties or display settings, as it's opening, you'll be seeing something like display resolution over here. So this one is what we call screen resolution. So you can choose any certain range according to how you want your screen to look like. Let's try to go back to our questions. And then we have Trojans. So Trojans are just like some of the basic categories of what we call a malware. So it's just like a type of virus. We usually call them Trojan horses. So these ones are threat to data more than any other. Also, employees can be a threat to data, but when they are given unlimited access. So this one is the best solution, Trojan horses. Which one of the following is an example of a threat to data from extraordinary circumstances? So when we say extraordinary circumstances, we mean like in terms of natural calamities, disasters, let's say fire, let's say flood, let's say earthquakes, and so many others. We have lost password, cracking. Cracking is just an attempt to guess your password. Like if somebody is trying to guess your password so that, let's say, he can enter into your Gmail account, what he's doing is what we call cracking. Then we have fire, we have even cybercrime. So the best solution is fire. Question 5 is asking, which one of the following is a typical threat to data from using cloud computing? Cloud computing, it is associated with keeping data in somebody's device, or let's say somebody's storage, somebody's server. When you're not having your data, let's say in your computer, let's say you did a backup somewhere online, those data reside in somebody's computer. So we call that one doing a backup, but the process is what we call now cloud computing. So threats of cloud computing, most of the time it is associated with the lack of privacy and insecurity issues, because at the end of the day you don't know where you're keeping those data. Are they safe? Who is accessing them and who has unlimited access upon those data? So we have shredding. Shredding is like when you have your hard drive and then you get something like a hammer. Now you start destroying it to pieces so that nobody can retrieve any data from that hard drive. So that's what we call shredding. Then we have loss of privacy. We have identity theft. Identity theft is like when you start revealing yourself on social medias and people can use those information on your social media to be able to launch an attack on your data. So we call that one identity theft. Then we have restricted access. So the best solution is loss of privacy. Question 6 is saying, dash is a characteristic of information security that ensures the non-disclosure of data except to another unauthorized person. So we have confidentiality. Confidentiality is the ability of the data to be viewed by the authorized personnel. If I'm having my data, if you view those data that I'm keeping, that means you should be able to be having authority from me. If you're not having authority, you should not be viewing those data. So that's what we call confidentiality. Then we have accessibility. Accessibility is the ability of the data to be accessed by the authorized personnel. Integrity is what we call modification or change. Ability of the data to be changed by the authorized personnel. If I'm keeping my data in my system, let's say in my certain device, whoever changes those data should be having authority to change them. And then we have availability. Are those data available for the authorized personnel? That's what we call availability. So the best solution here is what we call confidentiality. Which one of the following best describes why you should protect your personal information? We have to prevent computer virus attacks, no. To prevent computer from defragmentization, to reduce the risk of identity theft, to avoid losing backed up data files. I think this one is the best one. Let me read the question well. Which one of the following best describes why you should protect your personal information? No. To protect computer from, no. Yeah, the last is the best solution. Which one of the following best describes the reason for protecting commercial sensitive information? To prevent theft of financial details, to prevent spread of malware, to prevent computer hardware errors, to prevent reduced broadband speed. So the best solution is to prevent theft of financial details. Question number 9. Which one of the following is the main principle of data protection legislation? Legislation deals with laws. So mainly the laws that are enacted deals with what we call personal data. Question number 10. Which one of the following best describes a data subject? A data subject is somebody who gets his data and takes it to a certain organization for that organization to be able to keep his data or her data. So the one who is giving his data to somebody to keep those data for him is what we call a data subject. Let's say I'm having my data, I give you my data for you to keep my data. You can call me a data subject, an individual who provides their personal data to a data controller. Actually, this one is the best solution. An organization who posts entries to the social networking sites, no. An individual who carries out data processing, no. Actually, data processing is always done in data centers. An organization who encrypts data without users' consent, no. Which one of the following best describes how ICT guidelines are used in an organization? So ICT guidelines are always for general computer use. Always go with this one. Which one of the following best describes the purpose of social engineering? Social engineering is the way of tricking somebody to reveal his sensitive information without your direct involvement. Let's say we have like 3 methods of social engineering. You can use phone calls to trick people, like these people who call you and they are saying you have won, let's say 1 million. So let's say we need to have access to your mobile PIN number, Momo PIN number, something like that. So those ones we call them social engineers. So they can use phone calls, they can use what we call shoulder surfing. Let's say you're in buses or you're standing somewhere, you're trying just to read something from your phone and somebody from your back is watching in your screen. That one we call it shoulder surfing. There are always like 3 methods. The third one is what we call phishing. Phishing, somebody pretends to be from a legitimate organization. Let's say I pretend that I work for Baker, and then I send you some email requesting for your credit card information. That one is what we call phishing. I'm pretending I'm an employee of Baker, but I'm not. Once you give me your credit card information, then I can be able to launch an attack. So we call that one phishing. So it's also another method of what we call social engineering. So we have password cracking, information gathering, ethical hacking. Ethical hacking is an authorized way of hacking. Like let's say you have we have 2 types of hacking. We have ethical hacking and black hacking. So ethical hacking is one of the best way. Let's say you have detected a weakness in your system. We usually call it a vulnerability. And then you hire a certain company from somewhere who has some experts, hackers, to come and exploit that weakness and be able to resolve that weakness, so that somebody from from a side cannot come and use that weakness to damage your system. So we call that one ethical hacking. So ethical hacking are always allowed and even authorized by the government. Then we have network sniffing. Network sniffing is being able to listen to the network. Let's say you're having a network within your organization. How many people are connected to your network? What are they doing on that network? So that's what we call network sniffing. So there are some softwares that we use for network sniffing, like CACT, like Observium, like Wireshark. So there are very many. So the best solution is what we call information gathering. Which one of the following is a method of social engineering? We said methods of social engineering are 3: using phone calls, phishing, and shoulder surfing. So here we have sending email that falsely claimed to be from a legitimate source. This one is what we call phishing. Then we have this one. Which one of the following best describes a direct consequence of identity theft? We have your keyboard or mouse may stop working, broadband connection, no. Your computer may take long to start, no. Your email account may be accessed by somebody else. So this one is just common sense. You just need to read it. Which one of the following is a method of identity theft? So for identity theft, we have what we call erasing is just like cleaning data. Skimming is one of the hacking ways that is used in developed countries. Like for them, they use more of cashless economy. So there are small devices that we call skimmers. So let's say you go for a supermarket. There is always this small electronic device where you can insert your card, and then they can easily deduct money from your card as a way of paying. So those hackers, they usually create some small device that resemble those, that once you plug in your credit card information, then they deduct all the details on the credit card information. So that way of hacking or stealing your information, we usually call it skimming. Then we have formatting, and then we have downloading. So the best solution here is what we call skimming. So skimming is one of the methods of identity theft, and they use it in what we call black hacking. Which one of the following best describes the effect of enabling an application to run macro? So macros, most of the time we use them even in Word document. Let's say I'm having a Word document somewhere. Let me try to open Word document so that you can see where we insert macro and what we do with macro. We try to be patient. Let me try to open a new blank document. You can see we have something like view over here, view as a tab. Then we have macro from here. So macro, you can come here to view macro, and then macros are programmed. You can come here and create. After giving it a name, let's say you call it let's say paragraph. Let's say you need to arrange paragraphs. Let's say we call it paragraphs, and then we create. That's just a name. So from here you can program a certain macro. So macro, they help us to do a job that we can spend a lot of time doing. So when we program a macro can do it just in a microsecond. So it automates a work that we repeat more often. So instead of repeating a certain work more and more, we can use macro, and then after running a macro, we can be able to do it just like in a blink of an eye. So we program macro from here. So I will have to close this one. If you need more clarification about macro, I will have to do a certain video about macro. So which one of the following best describes the effect of enabling an application to run macro? So macros, since they are programmed, most of the time they contain viruses. So you don't know whether somebody who programmed it had an intention to destroy your computer system, or whether it was for a useful role. So most of the time they contain viruses. Which one of the following is a disadvantage of data encryption? So what we call an encryption is the encoding of the plain text to ciphertext. Let's say you're having a certain message that is readable, and let's say I'm sending you a message. Let's say I'm having how can I explain it? Let's say I'm having a message I want to send to John, and I want to say hello. That's the message called hello to John. So if I want to send this message to John, you have to bear in mind that somebody who is an experienced hacker can gain access to this message at any time. So during the World War II, they created a certain technology that we call encryption. It's a way of hiding the readable text to unreadable text. Then, for John to be able to read the unreadable text, he will have to convert them to the readable text. So what we call encryption is just like hiding of plain text to ciphertext. And then from ciphertext to plain text is what we call decrypting now. So encryption basically is for security, hiding data, so that nobody can gain access to them without an authorization from the owner. So that's what we call encryption. So encryption involves what we call keys. Maybe I have to show you a little bit of an example of an encryption. Let me try to go maybe to CodePen. Let me try to see whether I can get a software that uses encryption, so that at least you can understand it. Let's say encryption, let's say I use CodePen. CodePen is a site where some developers put codes where everybody can simply use those codes. Let me see. I'll try to see whether in my example whether I have some codes also for encryption. Okay, I don't. Let me go online. Let me see whether I can get something. Let me try to test from here and see whether this one is working. Okay, I will try to elaborate from this one. I could download it, but because of the time I will not. So I will have to repeat. Here somebody created a system for encrypting, so I will use this one in illustrating. So you can see we have encrypt and decrypt. So encrypt is to hide, decrypt is to unhide. In a layman's term, let's say I have this message, and then let's say I'm having a certain question that I want to ask somebody, or I have a message that I want to communicate to somebody. If I just come here and I put something like let's say how are you, this is just a question I'm sending, and then let's say he had to answer I'm fine. So once I want this message, not reach him in this way, in a readable text, all I have to do is to encrypt. So this man did a button here to encrypt. Once I click on this one, you will see I'm having this message over here. So this message, John will be receiving this message. So this message is useless to him. But for him to be able to read this message as this one over here, he will have to use this one that we call decrypt. So if I put my message here, let's say I say I'm fine, and then I say decrypt, you can see the message was hello. So in other words, I'm fine is just a key they are using. They agreed about a key to be able to read either this message or the other message called hello. So you can see here he's receiving hello after decrypting, but the message he had was this one. So this one is what we call ciphertext. The message is not readable. So the message that is readable, we call it a plaintext. So converting from plaintext to ciphertext, we call it encrypting. Ningo guhisha. So from ciphertext to plaintext is what we call now decrypting. So what John did is what we call decrypting. I hope you can understand. In case you're not picking something, you can always go online and find more about what we call an encryption. So encryption uses a key, uses keys. So keys can be number or even strings. In this case, we use them fine as a string, as words, to be able to read the message that I sent to John. Okay, so here let's see the solutions. The strongest of the encryption is decreased if the key has few characters. No, the more the key, the stronger the encryption. The strength of the encryption is decreased if the key has many characters. No, encrypted data cannot be deleted unless it's first decrypted. No, you can delete the data, but you cannot read it. Encrypted data cannot be copied unless it is first decrypted. No, you can copy it. So the best solution, I think it would be, let's see, the strength of the encryption is decreased if the key has, yes, the less the key, the less the strength of the key. The more the keys, the more the encryption strength. So this one is the best solution. Where should you click in the image to encrypt the file folder? So to encrypt the file folder, let's say I'm having a folder over here. Let's say like this one. If I right click and then I come to properties, you can see advanced. If I say encrypt content to secure data, here it means if I click over here, if I click on this one, I tick it, and then I come here to OK, it means that if I send you this folder, you cannot read, you cannot open those files inside. They will be useless. You can never read content inside. So that's the picture actually we are having over here. So they're asking where should you click in the image to encrypt the file folder. So you just come here on letter D. Just click on letter D. You do not click on advanced, you just click on letter D. Let's go to question 18. Let's go to question 18. Open the file named internet.doc from Z. Apply the password network to open the document and save the internet file. If question is shown asking to convert to an Office XML format, click no. So let's first do our question up to Z over here. So we are going to open our file called internet.doc. So I just come to file, then I come to open, and then I go to browse, and then this is my file. You can see I'm on Z, this is my file. So I just click on open. and now I'm having my file open. So they are saying apply the password network to open the document and save the document file. Okay. Let's see. And save the document file. If the question is shown asking to convert to an office. Alright. So we just need to come over here to file. We are going to put a password now. Come to file, go to save as, come to browse. Remember, we are not going to change the directory where it's saved. It is saved to Z, so you're not going to change anything. Just come to tools, then you go to gen options, then you put the password name is network, so you type network. You make sure you're careful, and then you leave the second space empty. This one for password to modify, you just leave it empty. Then you type network again. For confirmation, you hit OK, and then you save. So if they could bring something like a prompt, you could click on no. But for my case, there is nothing. So you just leave it like that, and then you answer. So go to question 20. Which one of the following best describes what can be used to conceal malware in the computer? Malware is any software that is created with an intent to harm computer systems. So malware is just like a general term or an umbrella term for viruses. So you can always call a malware a virus. So we have a folder, we have a modem, we have a Trojan, we have a driver. So the best solution is what we call a Trojan. So most of the time, like in an exam, they can bring what we call rootkits. Rootkits are also one of the types of viruses. So they also conceal malwares. They hide themselves in computer system to be able to spread malware or to spread viruses. So we call them Trojan horses, and in an exam they can even bring rootkits. Which one of the following best describes a malware? We said it's a software that is designed to harm computer system. Which one of the following is a characteristic of a virus? A virus, when it comes to your computer system, it always behaves normally like any other file. But it behaves as a normal file while spreading harm to the computer systems. So this one is the best solution. A computer virus can spread from a seemingly normal file. Which one of the following is not a characteristic of adware? Adware are just like those pop-ups that usually comes on our screen. Like when we visit different websites, and then you see like some pop-ups coming here on the right corner at the bottom, saying, let's say a Nigerian won $200 million working online, working from home. Would you want to try? Please click on this image. Those are what we call adwares now. So they are saying characteristics one of the solution that is not a characteristic of adware. So it's this one. It is impossible to remove from a computer. It is always possible to remove them. It may press malware to the computer, yes. Most of the time adwares come with viruses. It shows advertisements on the computer, yes. It downloads advertisement to the computer, yes. So this one is the best solution. Which one of the following is the characteristic of an antivirus software? An antivirus software is just a software that is responsible for three main laws: scanning the computer. Then once it scans the computer and it finds that there are more harmful files or the affected files, it separates them from the rest of the files, and that's what we call quarantining. And then it takes them on side for further checking. If it finds that those files are really affected, then it will take time to remove them from the computer systems. So three main laws of an antivirus: cleaning, quarantining, and removing. Scanning, quarantining, and removing. So let's see a characteristic. Stores important passwords, no. Alerts unauthorized, no. Prevents fraudulent users, no. Fraudulent users are just like people who are trying to gain an access to your system without your permission. It scans. Yes, this one is the best solution. Which one of the following does not need an antivirus software installed? We have a tablet, a smartphone, a scanner, and a computer. Of course, a scanner. In a scanner, we don't need an antivirus. But in a tablet, you can have an antivirus. Which one of the following best describes why antivirus software should be updated regularly? To be able to catch up with the new viruses. Alright, so let's go to question 27. Which one of the following increases the risk of contracting malaria the most? We have using software firewall. Firewall, it can be a software, it can be a hardware. So its main role is to prevent any intruders from outside the network. So let's say you're trying to, let me show you what we call perhaps a software firewall. I'm going to try to close all of these. If I just come here, then I try to type control panel. I try to go to the control panel, and then I go to System and Security. Then I go to Windows Defender Firewall. Then we have something like turn Windows Defender Firewall on and off. So you can always turn them off from here, or you can turn them on from here. So a firewall, it helps us to make sure that if there is something coming from outside our network, it will be able to block it from running on our network. Let's say you install a certain application. That application, to be able to run, it's because it is authorized by the firewall. In other words, if the firewall blocks that application, it will not run. Most of the time, if the applications are having viruses and you're trying to install them, the firewall will automatically block that application. So we have obsolete and unsupported software. These are softwares that we download from unknown sources that contains viruses, and they can be harmful to our computer systems. And then we have the hardware. So the best solution is this one, unsupported software. So even when you're downloading a software, make sure you go to the official website of that software. Which one of the following best describes quarantine in an antivirus software? Quarantining is a process I actually explained it earlier. Like once an antivirus scans all the application and files and folders you're having inside your computer, the ones that are more suspicious, they are being put on side. So to be put on side, to recheck them again, those ones that are put on side is like what we call now quarantining, separating them from the rest of the file. Quarantining. Infected files that cannot be deleted nor cleaned during scanning all files are pressed here. So this one might be the best solution. You suspect your hard drive have been subject to malware attack. Which one of the following is the best course of action in order to diagnose and identify threats? So you visit a website of a well-known antivirus company, and then you download an antivirus from that website. Which one of the following is the security implication when connecting to a network? Let's see, we are having your private information may be at risk. No. Your web browsing history may be deleted. Your hard drive will be more likely to malfunction. Your computer will be more prone to theft. So this one and this one, they are likely to be correct, but this one is the most correct one. Your private information may be at risk. Which one of the following is most likely to manage authentication, authorization, and accounting within computer network? So the person actually who authorizes authentication. Authentication is the ability of the data to be accessed by the authorized personnel. That's what we call authentication. Then we have authorization. Are those people having access to data? The authorized one. That's what we call authorization. Then accounting. How are you able to trace whoever has access to data? So everything dealing with authentication, authorization, and accounting are dealt with by a person we call a network administrator. Is the one in charge of all of these three main key laws. Which one of the following best describes the function of a firewall? I think I explained firewall is to block unauthorized access from outside the network. You have installed a program which needs internet access. The software can be started but does not seem to connect to the internet. Which one of the following action is most likely needed to solve the problem? Restarting a computer can be the best solution. Reinstalling the software also can be the best. Make the complete antivirus scan of your computer. Allow the program access through firewall. So these three, the first one, the second one, and the last are all okay, but the last is the best solution. So we always choose the best solution from the rest of the solutions. Which one of the following is known by the term WEP? So WEP is what we call wired equivalent privacy. Wired equivalent privacy. So it's just like a security for your network. Like if I come here on my network icon, I click here, and then I go to, you can see I'm connected to UTB students as a network. If I go to network and settings, internet settings, sorry, and then I come to Wi-Fi, and then I go to change adapter options. You can see here I'm having my network, which is UTB student that I'm connected to. So if I want to see the security of my network, I can simply double click and then go to wireless properties, and then I can come to security. So from here you can see I'm using WPA personal. So maybe some of you can be using this one or can be using WEP. So WEP is always indicated here on the security type. So it's one of the type of what we call security type of the network. And then here you can see the password of your network actually by just clicking here on show. Let me go back and then come again and see. Go back to security, I click here. So you can see that this one is the password of my network. So you can always check your password from here actually. Let me try to close these ones and then I go back. Which one of the following should you be aware of when using an protected wireless network? Your data will be accessible to outsiders. Your computer password will be changed. Encrypted files will be decrypted firewall. Yes, this one is the best solution. So once you are accessing an open network, you're more at risk of identity theft or even your data theft. So your data can be accessed by anybody on that network so easily actually. Which one of the following allows a device to connect to the internet using another mobile device? Devices data connection. That's what we call a hotspot. Like I'm having my network, I put on hotspot, and then another one get connected. Which one of the following prevents an authorized user from accessing data? Using unsecured network, no. Backup. Backup, it's like I'm having my data in this computer and then I keep them somewhere so that if this computer gets a problem, I'm able to retrieve them back. So that's what we call backup. And then we have using a strong password, of course. Which one of the following best describes one-time password? One-time password is just a password you use for one login session. Let's say when you're trying to recover your Gmail account password, you're trying, let's say, to log into somewhere in your account, and then they send you a verification code or on your telephone. That code, you use it once, you cannot use it for the second time. So that code, we can call it a one-time password. You use it once and you never use it again. Once you try for the second time, they give you the second one. So we usually use it for one login session. Which one of the following best describes the purpose of a company network account? Is for the people to be able to share files and emails and have access to their shared content within the organization. So this one is the last, which is the best. From security perspective, which one of the following action is most important before leaving a computer logged onto a network? You have to log off. Let's say you're going for lunch. You need to log off your computer or put it at sleep so that it can consume less power. So the best solution is to log off. Even it's more for security reason. If somebody wants to enter into your account, then he will be asked a password. So you have to remember to log off always. Which one of the following is a common biometric security? Bio means biology, metric measures. So measures we apply but using biological means. Security techniques used in access control. We have footprint, movement tracking. So all of these are applied in a technology we call computer vision. So the popular one, which is the common, is what we call fingerprint. So here they are asking a good example of your password. So a good example of password, it should be combination of letters, numbers, special characters or special keys. Like this one over here, you can see we are having capital letters, we are having small letters, we are having special keys like underscore, we are having hyphen, we are having numbers, we are having even special characters like exclamation marks. So this one is a good password, and you should remember to change password regularly. Which one of the following application has the functionality of storing multiple usernames and passwords in one location? It's what we call a password manager. Which one of the following best describes when the autocomplete function should be disabled when completing an online form? Like when you're dealing with a site that requires credit card information, you should be sensitive and you should make sure autocomplete is no longer in your web browser. So to remove autocomplete in your web browser, you just need to come here. Just need to come here on settings, and then you just need to come here and then go to settings. Then you can see if you come on autofill, all of these data are in your web browser over here. So like this one, now you can easily see my site username and password. So to clear them, you come to privacy and security, and then you come to clear browsing data. So you clear everything from here. If I click here, you can see they will show you like autofill from data. So that's what we call now autocomplete data. So you tick this one and then you come to clear data. So everything will be gone. So autocomplete data is like when you're trying to fill the form and then you see data coming on their own. So that means those data that are coming in the form are already stored in your web browser. So you need to clear them. Because if you're buying something from online and your credit card details is stored within your web browser, then that means even the site itself can use what we call cookies to gain access to your credit card information within your web browser. So let's go with this one. Which one of the following application would you use to delete browsing history? We use an Internet Explorer because it's a browser. In case you have like Google Chrome here, you can go with Google Chrome. In case you're having Firefox Mozilla, you can go with that one. So we deal with the browser. Which one of the following is an online activity that should only be undertaken on a secure web page? When you're purchasing a gift, of course. Which part of the https www.security.org indicates that it is secure website? It is https because of S. HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, then S means secure. So let's say I come over here on my web browser and then I type, let's say google.com. You can see if I click here, I'm having HTTPS. This one comes on its own. HTTPS is a protocol that redirects traffic from your computer to the server of Google to be able to see this interface you're seeing over here. In other words, for you to see this interface you're seeing on your screen, there have been a route from your computer to the Google server, and then the Google server will check whether there is a connection from the server to your computer, and then the server will release this page that you see in front of us over here, where you can type anything and you search. So this one is what we call a protocol, HTTP. Then S stands for secure. Even this padlock over here stands for secure. Not all sites have this padlock. So if I click on this padlock and then I come on connection is secure, you can see we have something like certificate is valid. Let me click there. This one now is what we call a digital certificate. This is a certificate that shows a site is secure. So not all sites are secure. So you need to visit sites that are having this padlock over here. So that's what we call a digital signature. Let's move on. Which one of the following best describes the term farming? So farming is just like redirecting of traffics or links. Like I send you a link saying maybe let's say there are links they commonly share like on WhatsApp. Like they are showing you that maybe once you answer like 3 questions, you will win a car maybe like from Bank of Kigali, or you will win a prize from I&M Bank. So, and once you click on them, instead of them taking you to I&M bank website, they take you somewhere on a fake site. So we call that one farming. So redirecting of traffic to a fake site. I don't know whether you get it. So the best solution is this one, deliberately misleading users to fraudulent websites. Instead of taking them to real website, the link takes them to fake websites. So it's another trick of hacking actually. We call it farming. Which one of the following best describes parental control software? So parental control software are those softwares we use to make sure we regulate or we monitor our kids at home. So we restrict access to chat files and web browsing. Which one of the following best describes the purpose of decrypting email? So decrypting is changing now from ciphertext to plaintext. Gukura mu magambo adasomeka ujyana mu asomeka. Na kohereza message ngira ngo nyihishe undi muntu aba atayisoma. So nimba nyikohereje ngira ngo nihagira undi uyisoma iraza iri mu buryo budasomeka. Wewe kugira ngo uyisome uzayisubiza mu buryo busomeka. So kuyisubiza mu buryo busomeka is what we call decrypting. Reducing the size of the file attachment in email, no. Removing needed antivirus, no. Automatically cross wrong email address, no. It makes encrypted email readable, of course. Which one of the following is an example of how digital signature might be used? Now the digital signature they are talking about is this one over here. Let's say you go into your Gmail account. Let's say you go into your Gmail account. Let me try to log into mine. Fortunately, my email is already there. If I try to compose any email to somebody, if I click on compose, If I click on compose, I think it's still loading. It's still loading. If I come over here, before I compose anything, you can see I'm having my address over here at the bottom. So this address over here is what we call a digital signature. It shows that somebody who is sending a message, it's like it reveals the identity of the sender. If I'm working for a certain company, I should be able to put an address here of that company. I put the website, I put the role that I do, I put everything related to that company, and even my address. Most people tend to do that, which is even good, and I'm thinking of doing that. So this one is what we call a digital signature. It reveals the sender, because most of the fake senders, they don't have what we call digital signature, because they don't want to reveal themselves. To improve web search result, not replace a password. To improve email security. Which one of the following best describes phishing? Phishing, I think I talked about it earlier. Phishing is just like sending you a fake link, pretending I'm from a certain legitimate company. Let's say I'm from I&M Bank or KCB Bank, and I'm requesting for financial credit card information, and I'm calling myself an employee of KCB when I'm not. So in that regard, we call that process phishing. So it's a hacking attempt of using links through mails by tricking people. Email with large file attachment, no. Email with intended to trick recipient into revealing their financial credit card information, yes. Email with malware that tries to use recipient, no. Email with advertising sent from fraudulent senders, no. The best solution is the second one. Then we have which one of the following should be reported to the National Fraud and Cybercrime Agency. We have phishing attempt, trolling. Trolling is just like following somebody when you have bad intention. Broadband fraud, pop-up advertisement. So it's this one, phishing attempt. Which one of the following actions is the most likely to spread malware? Email attachments are more dangerous, because most of the email attachments, they consist of what we call an executable files. So those executable files, some of those files, they have macros. Other files can be installed in computer systems. So any file that can be installed in your computer system can easily damage your computer system in case it has malware. Which one of the following best describes why you should not disclose personal confidential information on social networking sites? Information may violate terms and conditions, no. Information may be difficult to remove, no. The information may be used by other users for identity theft. What you reveal, what you put on social medias is what hackers use to gain access to your data. It's what they use actually attacking you. Which one of the following does not ensure that data is permanently destroyed? When you delete data and they go to the recycle bin, those data are not permanently destroyed. They are actually still in your computer, so you can easily restore them. So when you want to permanently destroy those data, you need to physically destroy the hard disk. So we have like two processes. We have what we call shredding. Shredding is like getting a hammer and you destroy your hard drive. And then we have another one called degassing. Degassing is reducing magnetism on the hard disk so that it cannot be able to copy data on itself, because hard drive copies data on itself using what we call magnetism. Maybe you can do a small research on that one. Which one of the following is a potential danger when using social networking site? It's what we call grooming now. Grooming is like when you try to befriend somebody for bad intention. It's what we call grooming. Which one of the following best describes known security vulnerability of instant messaging? Most of the time they contain malwares, nothing else. Which one of the following helps ensure confidentiality when using instant messaging? Enabling cookies, no. Not revealing personal information, run adware, invite unknown users. So not revealing your personal information. Make sure you have privacy. Which one of the following can be used to reduce the risk of computer theft? Computer theft, they are talking about physical computer theft, not about data. They are talking about computer itself. So we use cables. You can use cable locks, or what we call tires, to make sure a computer is just stationed in one location. Nobody can remove that computer. Which one of the following should be carried out to prevent loss of data? We have decryption, cracking, formatting, and backup. So we can use what we call backup, and I explained it earlier. Which one of the following is an example, is an important part of a backup procedure? An important part of backup procedure, let's see. Deleting the original file, store the files in a different location, yes. Copying files, no. So this one is the best solution. You make sure, if you're having, let's say, data in this computer I'm using, make sure you store them remotely, let's say online, so that if this computer gets a problem, then you can still have your data online. But suppose you're having, let's say, the data on one partition and you keep them on another partition. Once the whole hard drive gets a problem, then you're losing the whole data. And remember, data are very, very expensive. Let's see this question, 63. Make a backup copy of the file budget. Budget is an Excel sheet. By saving it to the folder called or named December backup in Z. So you just come to File, tab, and then you come to Save As. You go to Browse. Then you navigate to a folder called December backup. You open it, you make sure it's open here, then you just click on Save, and that's all. You're just saving it to that folder they told you, called December backup. Which one of the following is an important reason for permanently deleting data from a device? To make sure they are not accessible again. To make it to make data inaccessible. Which one of the following is a method to ensure data is permanently destroyed? We have to compress file, no. Empty the recycle bin twice, no. Make sure storage media is physically destroyed. You destroy your hard drive or your external or your memory card physically using a hammer or using any other physical object. And then we just end our test. So let's see what we did. Let's go back and see what we did. Let's try to go back and see what we did. So you can see we answered all our questions well. So it's up to you to go ahead and try. Pause the questions. Try to pause the questions. See how I answered them. Go through them again. And do all your best to make sure you pass this very module. This very module is too simple, but it has some technical terms. So if you face a term and you feel like it's new, try to Google it or even to ask. Thank you so much for your time. I thank you so much. I hope you enjoy this test.